This is a typical of a repair that was done in a backyard or a shop who didn't have knowledge or skill to repair properly. This was uncovered by removing Bondo with media, and this was discovered with a process that I do when we look at cars and assess the issue with the body and what it needs to repair it.
Okay.
So this is something that is atypical we find every day in the aftermarket or in the repair industry, especially in the muscle car, because right now they're a very hot market. So this is one of the things that you need to be aware of when you're looking for cars, that what you can't see will hurt you.
How would you repair that now? You have to cut it all out? Or
yeah, the right way to repair this would be to split it along the seam here and take this whole piece out. This is not a complex part to make a patch for, but this is just somebody's idea of a quick fix, and as you can see, they've fatigued the metal and it's also been welded outside. You can see all the porosity in here in the welds, and also the metal is heavily distorted.
Okay. Would you, how often would you go to just starting with a new fender? I mean, if you could afford one, would that be the better fix in this particular case? Or?
In most cases, we find that keeping the original parts in the car is always better. The aftermarket has great resources, but the original fenders, nothing fits like them. So oftentimes, if they're just a front portion like this and not a lot of heavy cancer, we'll make an attempt to repair this, even though the cost would be either the same as or greater than a pair of fenders. Another good contributor to the consideration of repairs, if you look in the back here, you'll see that there's some repair work here, and there's also some rust here at the lower part of the fender. This was all covered by body filler and paint, and you couldn't see it. Once again, unskilled operator with a dent puller instead of a stud gun, or at least working the material out from the backside.
So you just pull hammer, pulled it out.
Yeah, basically. You just use the dent puller. Now, some things you can't get to understood because you're blocked by the brace here.
Right.
This is a common problem on all cars because this brace exists on all cars. Oftentimes, the easier way is to just take the brace out by splitting the seam and busting the spot welds and then cutting the brace after you've fixed your downside of the fender and taking the brace away, doing your dolly and repair work here, and then reinstalling the brace and removing the fixture.
Very good.
This car is here for at PGCC for a restoration paint job. This is an all numbers match original GTX. This is a similar body style to the fender that I showed you the front nose damage on, but I'll give you a good tip that is always helpful when you go to look for your muscle car that you're looking for, your dream car. Oftentimes the simplest things are the easiest to use, and one of them is a very simple thing, and that's a magnet. This is just a simple magnet, and I stole this from my refrigerator. It belongs to my wife, hence the flowers. However, a little magnet like this that costs you nothing except a little grief from your wife because it's missing can also give you a heads up on what you're facing on your repair. And let's face it, bodywork and paint nowadays is not cheap. Simple thing to do. You can calibrate any magnet by using a source of metal with a thin layer of Bondo you could buy at any auto parts store. Lay it up about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch thick on a piece of just bare metal, let it harden. Take whatever magnet you choose and apply it and test for the feel. Now, you're the only one who'll know if it's your magnet, but test for the feel so that you know what the strength of the pull is. Once you go to your car, whatever you're looking at, now that you know that if it's 3/16 of an inch thick and the magnet falls off, anything greater than that or at that is going to cause a loss of adhesion of the magnet. So when you're looking at the car, basically all I do is I just simply put the magnet against the skin and I go along all the areas that I feel are suspect that may have filler, and I watch for the magnet and it stays stuck to the car. If the magnet stays stuck, you know that the Bondo is not deep in those areas, or fiberglass or any other thing that they've used to repair the body. So in a few minutes while you're looking to purchase your car from the buyer, you can simply take this little magnet out of your pocket, which nobody can see, and you can just arbitrarily walk around the car and give it a quick overview and determine that the car you're buying is either put together with plastic or it's real steel.